For a lot of players, the break is all about hitting the cue ball as hard as you can so that the balls fly around the table, they spread nicely, and hopefully you make a pot. The theory behind this is fairly sound, and it's true that the more the balls move around, the more they're likely to cannon off each other and into a pocket. However, there are so many random factors at work here that you're just as likely to not pot a ball off the break. What's even worse is not potting a ball, but getting a lovely split and leaving things nice and easy for your opponent. If they're a decent player, then that might be your only shot of the game. The issue is that because you're relying on interactions between the balls to knock something into a pocket, these are going to be different every time. Even if you place the cue ball in the same spot and aim at the same spot, the variation in power and imperfections in your cueing, which will happen when you hit the ball hard, will end up with a different result every single time. So here's a way that I've been shown that allows you to pot a specific ball into a specific pocket from the break. It doesn't rely on any cannons, and therefore it's far more consistent. To start with, we'll look at where to aim. Even though we'll be hitting the lead ball, the point we aim at is this contact point between these two balls. This is easier to focus on than just somewhere on the lead ball, and it allows us to be more precise and really focus on delivering the cue to the same point every time. The cue ball then needs to be placed a quarter of the way along the line. If, like me, you find placing the ball on the line means that you're stretching a little bit for the cue ball, then you can move it back a bit. However, this needs to be along the line from the point of aim, not just straight back, otherwise you'd be changing the angle slightly. Then you strike the cue ball just below centre as firmly as you can. The harder you can do this, the better split you'll get. But be wary that you're not hitting it so hard that you're throwing your cue offline and not making the right contact. If all of this is done correctly, then you should be able to pot this yellow to the middle pocket. If you find that you're not making the ball, it's most likely that you're not cueing as straight as you think you are because of the power. Even if you slow this right down and focus on accuracy, you should still be able to make that yellow. Just be aware that the balls won't split quite as nicely. There's also a bonus red at the back of the pack, which can often be potted as well. However, because this ball has further to travel, it can easily be knocked off course by another ball, so it's got a far lower percentage of success. So I'm by no means guaranteeing that this will work every time, because there's still far too many random factors at work. To do a simple test of the success rate, I made 15 breaks, trying to hit the same spot every time and keep as much consistency to the power as possible. Out of those 15 breaks, I made the yellow to the middle pocket 11 times. That's a success rate of 73%, which is pretty good for a shot with so many variables. Now, I accept that this is not the most powerful break, and there is a tendency for the balls to cluster a little towards the right middle, especially if the shot is a little weak. However, I would much rather make a ball off the break and then be in control of the table than split the balls really nicely only to come up dry and hand the table to my opponent. As I said, this shot is by no means guaranteed. There are lots of factors that could hinder its success. The cloth on the table, the quality of the balls, the tightness and precision of the placement of the rack, and the accuracy of the break shot itself. However, for me, this is really something worth practicing. Being in control of the table after the break shot is a huge advantage and can be the difference between winning and losing a frame. If you want to see more practice routines and pool tutorials, then please remember to subscribe. And if you're interested in any of the equipment I use in this video, then there are links in the description below.